Oh, here we go. Let's get things started here. Right? There we are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It is so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today's June 3rd, 2025. We're going to write a little bit of code today. How you doing there, chat room? I see we're already running the hat command to take a look. Yeah, we've got a new hat on board here. Let me say hello to you out there. Billy Cool with a big wave getting us started. Good afternoon to you, Surly Dev. How's it going there? C Sharp Titan. Greetings to you in Melbourne. Hope you're having a good evening there. Napalm Codes. Happy time zone to you. Phil, thank you for the resub. 47 months with us. Over on YouTube, Sam. Is it Sam or is it Kem? Welcome. How you doing there? Codebase Alpha. Good afternoon to you in Birmingham. Right? Ran the hat command. This is from Tarnished Truth. They're a distillery in Virginia Beach that I had the pleasure of visiting last week while I was on holiday. They're a little micro distillery in a old hotel called the Cavalier Hotel that's had many famous Americans, presidents that have stayed there. And the story goes that in the lounge area just opposite the area that was converted into the distillery, one infamous Richard Nixon was resting, was on retreat to Virginia Beach while the Watergate scandal was going on, and he's sitting by the fire reading some documents, and Secret Service noticed that he throws something into the fire, and literally they stamped out the fire. They got him out of there. The FBI swarmed because the president threw something into the fireplace. That's the story, and it's that tarnished truth of what happened there is where they name their distillery after. These folks make gin, vodka, but I was there for the bourbon, and man, they make a very nice bourbon there. So for a micro distillery, awesome stuff. CTI Geek, good morning to you in Virginia. Yeah, that's where I was last week. Robson Previato, good morning to you in Brazil. Another new hat, that's right. And there's several more coming behind this. Yeah. DJ Deepex, cheers to you. Good afternoon. Patty Bohoy, 86, in Glasgow, Scotland. I got to get Charlie finished and running so that we can get the map happening in the background here. There's a bunch that I want to do with that. I've got to get that done and running here, but we're going to be working on SharpSite here today. Dr. Cox, hello to you. You missed the first stream. That's all right. Don't worry about it. PowerShell Freak, hello. I'm doing well. I definitely needed the mental health break with the stresses and the events that were happening in the month of May. It was a very welcome and needed mental health break. I've been speaking to a therapist. I've seen a psychiatrist. The stresses, changes, the events that have been going on in not in my work life, but in my personal life. The work life hasn't made it any easier. I didn't do anything for my mental health last summer when a whole bunch of things were happening all at once, and it significantly affected me in a negative way. And I've heard friends say again and again, you got to take care of your mental health when stuff starts going bad and you're not feeling right about things. You gotta address this. And I saw in April that things weren't going to be going. There were a significant number of stressors coming, and I've shared on this stream what was happening, and I'm not going to dig further into it. And I made the hard decision at the end of April to step away for the month of May. That meant, unfortunately, I missed St. Jude fundraising. I spoke with them about it. They understand that it wasn't going to be in my best interest to do that. They still met their goals. So I'm very happy about that, and we'll get back involved with St. Jude in the future. Let me get some music playing in the background here, and then we'll dive in and talk some more. Let's go down here. This is called Silicon Views. This is Stream Beats by Harris Heller. This is music that is royalty-free, DMCA-free. Use it wherever you'd like. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for this music we're listening to today. Jay Tandon over there on YouTube. Hello to you. Welcome. Appreciate you joining us, Jay. Didn't get time to watch the VOD. That's okay, Dr. Cox. There was a cool demo in there that I showed because my demo session from Microsoft Build apparently is lost. It's literally the only session that hasn't been posted from Build. And I've watched a lot of them. I don't know where it went. There is a recording, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of where that recording went to. I delivered that same content live on stream yesterday, answered questions, talked through it. It was at about an hour and a half, 2 hours in. We talked through that using Playwright with .NET Aspire. We're going to use those techniques today in SharpSite.
Eric Vanaf still in just resubscribed for 24 months.
Thank you so much. 24 months, 2 years. Eric, thank you so much for that support. I really appreciate it. I can pronounce your name any which way is easy for me. How's Kem? Is Kem better, even though it doesn't have an H in there? What was it that he threw on the fire? But we don't know. We don't know what he threw on the fire. What's my annual hat budget? Asks CTI Geek. I don't really have a hat budget. It's more like when I'm out. Oh my gosh! And the lanky Scottish nerd.
Felon Kai Scottish nerd just resubscribed for 14 months.
No, it's the lanky Scottish nerd. You stupid voiceover. Get it right. Thank you so much. And we're on to a hype train. 50% to completing level 1. All of your cheers and subscriptions head towards that. Thank you so much for that support. I don't really have a hat budget, but I try to limit to purchasing 1 hat per trip. So when I left for Build, I bought 1 hat. I saw it at the airport and I said, I got it. That is phenomenal. And I got a new Phillies hat, but it's a hat in the style, and I haven't shown it on stream yet. It's a hat in the style of they call them City Connect jerseys, which have this lightning style font for the word Philly for Philadelphia, and that is phenomenal. I love the angular text on that. So I picked that up and I'm like, yes, I need that. But then, while I was at Build, some very nice folks gave me 3 more hats, including the GitHub Copilot hat that you saw yesterday. More on those coming up. And while I was away for the week at Virginia Beach, I bought this hat, and Mrs. C Sharp Fritz said, oh, you got to have this other hat also. And we picked up a second hat. And that was her decision, not mine, so I'm okay with that. So I try to decide on picking up 1 hat per trip. 1. And I think that's okay. But even then, I some places that I go to, it's like, what's the hat to get when I'm in Stockholm? I don't know. So, I did so well in Glasgow. Yes. I could just pronounce it boy. That's fine. Not a problem. Faux Irishism related to Celtic football. Fantastic. You're now addicted to GHCP agent. Oh, okay. Counseling and therapy is awesome, says CTI Geek. A lot of shame associated with that for Gen Xers. Yes. And that's part of the reason why I want to be transparent and clear with you that I have taken steps to make sure that I get the help and support that I need to make sure that I'm still, doing my thing and feeling good about how things are going. Unfortunately, there are folks that I work with who do, as you say, they frown on that. They see it as a sign of weakness, and some folks even see it as an excuse to dismiss other employees, which is against the law. So, am I taking a risk in being transparent about, yes, I sought support for mental health? Yes, I am. Am I going to lose my job over it? Maybe. That's not my problem right now. So, Prozac is amazing. I'll have to take your word on that. Hey, Eric, you saw yesterday's demo this morning. Was great to see. I'm glad you enjoyed that. C# Titan managed to get Copilot hang in VS Code today. Just got stuck thinking on how to fix the code. Yes, I've run into that as well. And you saw a little bit of that in the last hour and a half of the stream yesterday, where we were telling it, implement the code this way, and it refused. And it kept, almost like a 7-year-old, it kept finding excuses and ways to work around what I was telling it to do. And to the point where it even created an abstraction to hide that it was still doing it the exact same way. It was crazy like that. So, it's not a frog. You need a hat with an LCD on it so it can be any hat. Napalm. They do make such hats. I've looked at them and they're like $100, and I'm like, do I really need that? Because what I'd really want is for the technology to advance just a little bit more so that I can use a Bluetooth controller so that I can allow you to set the image that's on the hat. But that's not me researching that at all. What happens if we send the hat command with 2 hats on the screen? Yes, he confused it. Ha-ha! Solve my headache with the vibe coding, can sympathize. Yes. And there are some folks... The other thing that I wanted to make clear about yesterday was I was running all of those commands with no custom instructions. We're going to load up some custom instructions with SharpSite today, and you're going to see a significant difference, a significant improvement in how GitHub Copilot behaves when you have that grounding of custom instructions. Additionally, I want to go through and let Copilot generate some documentation for us. SharpSite, I think, has a good base for its plugin system, but it needs a little bit of documentation. It needs a little bit of a template generated for it. And we'll do a little bit of document generation today. We'll continue working on the initialization and startup scripts and process. But I think we're gonna be able to let Copilot do its thing a little bit more on SharpSite and see where it goes. So, while it was a little bit of a headache yesterday, I wanted to make that example so that you saw, here's what happens when Copilot runs without that grounding, that set of custom instructions, which, in my opinion, should be delivered with .NET templates, or have an option to go grab one from the .NET command line and add it into your project. Hey, I'm building a WPF app. Give me a set of good base instructions for Copilot to have hanging out here. It might not be something that everybody's using, and folks might want to take that same instruction set instead of setting it up for Copilot, reformat it and place it for Cursor. That's fine. But to provide that set of AI instructions that grounds where it's right, it anchors what's being built, what's being delivered. Oh, there's a sticker on the extension cable underneath that's tickling my feet. So I think it's important to show that. Alu the Crow, how you doing there, friend? You didn't go to counseling and therapy. You'd be in a lot worse of a position. Yeah. A true sign of strength is admitting to needing help in areas you are unfamiliar with. Something that I significantly struggle with and I've been spending a lot of time talking to my therapist about this. I have a very difficult time No, I need to hold off on that. I need to hold off on that. Let me hold off on that. Let me get through talking to the therapist about that, and I like to be transparent with you. Let me hold off, and we'll talk more about that another time. You'd go to the hospital if you tripped and broke your leg and needed help, so why not go and get help for mental health? Exactly. So GPT-4.1 is less likely to hang in your experience, but Claude is sometimes prone to doing so. Hang is I think the wrong term. What I think we've witnessed is not hanging, but it's almost like an infinite loop. The AI infinite loop, where it starts working on something and says, "Oh, I didn't do that right. Let me go try again this way." And it particularly in agent mode. I didn't do that right. Let me go and reformat and write another file that is doing this the right way. And it does that and looks at it and says, "Nah, that's not right either. Let me update that. That's not working the right way that I want it to. Let me go and write a new file and put it the right way. That's not working the right way either." And it gets into this infinite loop. So, a stream project Adafruit? Don't know. Chat hat. You can imagine the carnage. Yes. Would be good if I could create channel hats that you can purchase. I've done that in the past with the St. Jude streams. And what's difficult about that is I had to do all the fulfillment of it, and if I wasn't able to get to the custom hat shop to have the hats made and mailed out, it became difficult, and I felt bad about how long it took to send out the last set of hats. I feel weird making swag. Like I do. But I think there's a number of phrases and things and artwork that we've used on stream that might be fun to make into swag. Let me just ask you, for the next minute or so, I'm not going to open a poll. Just from over here, if I did have swag made, hats, t-shirts, and use one of those, I was using another website before, but if I had hats and t-shirts available from one of those swag shops online, is that something that you would be interested in? Knowing that I get a percentage of the purchase, but you'd be able to get hats, t-shirts with some of the sayings and things that we've used here on stream. There's a handful of things there. A couple of folks saying yes. Okay. You'd buy a C# Fritz hat. Okay. But okay. I'm going to take that and I do have a few websites that have reached out to me and said, "Hey, why don't you make your swag available with us?" Throne feels weird. I don't like a mug too. So I did have a Redbubble store out there with mugs. I should shut that. It's still out there. Nobody's purchased anything from it in years. I should shut it down and move it. But look at a swag store again. Yeah. We can definitely do that. Continuing here. Ads are gonna start up here in about 4 minutes on Twitch. How you doing, Mythin? Good to see you. C# Titan says, "I've started using VS Code more than Visual Studio." A lot of folks are saying that. You're not alone in saying that. We've been hearing more and more of that. I do find the debugger experience in Visual Studio to be far superior to that of Visual Studio Code. Eric asks, can you get Copilot to look at your project and render a good set of instructions for each of the file types? Yes. Eric, I've asked Copilot to look at my project, review my styles, and generate a set of Copilot instructions. That's worked really nicely. We can take a look at that a little bit. Virtual hugs for me. Thank you, Eric. You were worried, Robson. My goodness, thank you. Thank you so much. Maybe 10 more prompts in your test app and it's close to production ready. So generate some tests to go with that. Ask it to then generate some documentation to go with that. It'll do that sanity check on some of those things. You'll have the ability to review. Don't just blindly send to production. Make sure you have a chance to give it a once-over look and that you have tests that verify it's working the way that you want. I know you're working on a console app from some of the content that you shared on Discord. I'm speaking of DJ Deepex, somewhere way up here. You can get some tests written that'll help you out there. Cam on YouTube says, I watched the live stream and have a question. No problem. Let's answer this. If I were just starting to learn programming, would I choose .NET or TypeScript? I hate to answer this way. Depends. What's your goal with your programming knowledge? Where do you want to take that? Do you want to build websites? Do you want to build games? Do you want to build desktop applications? If you want to build a website, I'd look at TypeScript, knowing full well that you're probably also going to learn .NET further down the line. If you want to build games, there's several game engines that work really well with .NET. Unity and Godot are the most prominent of those. However, C++ is what most game developers use. You want to build a desktop application? Learn .NET. You don't like obvious merch. If I would sell and ship globally regular shirts with a smart logo, if the merch says C# Fritz all over the place, agreed. Yes. So Mythin, where there's t-shirts with somebody's face on it, no, that's not my style. Is it Tia? Welcome. Hello. I think there's some logos and things that and emotes that we've used on stream, like this guy over here, that can be fun to use, that we might be able to do something interesting with. DevKit is not great compared to a full IDE like Writer in Visual Studio. That's fine. What are my thoughts on the ReSharper plugin for Visual Studio Code? You much prefer the C# Dev Kit. To each their own. I appreciate that they're trying to create some competition. That's fine. Hey, if it pushes folks to do better, that's a good thing. What do I think about the .NET Run app.cs command? That's a great question, Robson. Yes, Mythin, the folks at JetBrains have released a ReSharper plugin for Visual Studio Code. I think there's also a CodeRush plugin for Visual Studio Code from our friends at DevExpress. The question from Robson right here, .NET Run some C# file. I think this is a fantastic way to build little scripts to get folks started with .NET without all the ceremony of referencing and building a project file and templates and all of that stuff. I think there's a really there's a lot of opportunity for that. while the ads are running, for those of you that are subscribed or you're watching on YouTube, I'll give you a little inside baseball. You might have seen I was hosting an Aspire community stand-up, .NET Aspire community stand-up, back in March, where I was on screen with Maddie Montequilla and with Damian Edwards. When that stream ended, Damian elbows me and he says, "Jeff, you got to see this. This is something that we're working on right now." And he showed me the .NET Run app CS at that point, right? Because it was something that they were working on in an isolated space away from the main source code to try and see if this was a thing that was going to work. And wow, there's a lot of potential to build microservices, to build things that, right, to use that to be the startup place for your .NET Aspire projects. I think there's a lot of opportunity there in making the .NET developer experience lighter, thinner, and using less code. Now, the criticism the .NET team always gets when they remove some of the ceremony around writing .NET code is, oh, now you've made it magic. You've hidden it behind something else. Yes, they've hidden all of the things to set up a project file, to wrap your program main method, your static start method. Yes, they've hidden those things because you don't really need them when you just want to write a little file that does a couple calculations, that listens on a port and wants to respond with just a little bit of code for a little API. And there's a grow-up story from there. And if you want to see how all the things work that are hidden, the source code's available. So you're hiding the magic criticism, I think, is hogwash. It's feedback that is folks just trying to make noise and distract from moving the product forward and making it easier for more folks to use. .NET is 25 years old. Making it easier for more folks to use as it enters its second quarter century of use is a valid and a goal that we can all applaud. So technology advances. If you're not changing to keep up with those advancements, cultures, and direction, you're going to get left behind. So many people were asking for that for so long, they kept refusing it. And there were a number of folks that built projects that provide those capabilities that inspired the team and caused them to say, yes, we want to do this now. So you were part of the thread where they said JetBrains would never do a VS Code plugin. Yeah. They have Fleet and Rider. Yeah. Yeah. So you can create a solution file from the app CS and grow it from there. Yep. Mithin says Rider is an amazing IDE on their Mac. Haven't got the experience with Fleet. I know about it, just like a JetBrains answer to VS Code with their language services. Yeah. Yeah. Napalm loves Rider, has Fleet installed, but haven't had a need or want to use it. Cool. All right. Let's, and I'm just going to take a peek over here, see if I missed anything on YouTube. Okay. So, catching up. Making sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, good. I want to dive back into SharpSite. We haven't looked at this code in more than a month. I want to let Copilot agent mode run wild on it. Generate and work on some of that code for us to help out. Because I think now that we have agent mode available to us, and Copilot is becoming more reliable, I think there's some significant benefits we can get in letting Copilot look at and generate some of the things for us. Like, we had a task out here to update the README and update some other documentation. Let's let Copilot do that for us. Codebase Alpha says using C# to define Azure CI/CD pipelines would be awesome. I completely agree. YAML, JSON, XML, these are markup languages. These aren't even languages where we can add the simple if-then conditionals, right? You can't write a loop in these languages. So when you want to build a pipeline and you want to have failover capabilities, we had to declare and invent all sorts of language constructs that sit inside that markup to define these things, and it's unnatural. There's no compiler that is able to tell you this is valid, this is invalid. And don't get me started about spaces versus tabs in YAML, because that'll kill you. So what do? I think writing C# files to generate build scripts is a fantastic idea. Why not just write PowerShell scripts, for that matter? Like, that's what these things do. Generate PowerShell scripts, generate Bash scripts. It works pretty much out in all the places. So just do that. But I do understand wanting to have an abstraction over services and things that are provided by CI/CD systems, GitHub Actions, Azure DevOps, these things. I get it. I think there's a better way to do this. On YouTube, Kem says, I understand what you mean. I was actually asking about which programming language is better for finding a job. Ooh, which one is better for finding a job? Better, that's I might lean into TypeScript with React on that, because there is a lot of turnover, because folks are moving, changing jobs quickly in that space. So it might be better, easier to learn TypeScript with React. That said, there are more than 5 million .NET developers out there. It is a favorite technology at enterprises around the world. So, hey, VV3K, how you doing? I'm doing well. Thanks so much for tuning in. Sharer asks, we all know how much people love doing YAML. I agree. I had a fantastic experience yesterday asking Copilot to generate the YAML for some broken GitHub actions. That worked out really nice for me, because then I'm not the one writing the YAML. Let Copilot do that for me. Friends don't let friends write YAML. That's right. DJ Deepex has a PowerShell script only for raising the build version of my internal version of the code. Works well. Yeah. And React is great if you like having 50,000 node modules. The Live Coders website is built with Gatsby. And when you watch it install the node modules into GitHub Action, it's ridiculous. It literally takes minutes installing all of the node modules because of this giant hierarchy of JavaScript packages that it's downloading and installing. It's insane to watch. That's a thing. I get it. It's not my cup of tea. I'll tell you that much. It's not. So let me get things reset over here and set up so that we can start working with SharpSite in VS Code. Come on now. Come on now. There we go. Yep. Just moving some things around. Solution Explorer loading here for me. Good. There we go. You're welcome, Cam, and happy to discuss. And as you start your journey, as you're looking at that, let us know how it goes. We'd like to hear more, celebrate your success, and of course, if you have questions, help you get that resolved and move forward. It's my Tarnished Truth distilling hat. Hat features a sleek gray design with a black mesh back. Well, it's more like a darker gray, but that's okay. The front prominently displays the logo of Tarnished Truth, the distilling company. That's right. A shield-like emblem flanked by wheat stalks. Yep. Along with the company's name in bold black and white text, the hat represents a brand in the distilling industry, combining style with a nod to craftsmanship. Raise a glass to timeless craftsmanship and bold style. I think I need to improve some of the prompts that it's using to check these out. Give it a little bit more information, a little bit more grounding of what to look for. You got your DP300. Did you now? Did you? Tell me more. How did it go? Getting that certification. How you doing there, Chuck? Good to see you. Hello. Let me head over to... Let me see here. I'm not going to open Solution Explorer just yet. There's a ton in this project. Dear Lord. Sourced tests. Where is it? There's a README here somewhere. There it is. With the contributors list. Yes. Cool. Let me head over here to the code. You've been spending a lot of time working with Foundry Local. Cool. Working on getting embeddings. I haven't spent time with it yet, but I've been watching and learning more about it. And I have to balance that with the other tasks that I need to get done for work. So, it's an interesting balance out there, let me tell you. This is the README for SharpSite. Of course, you know about SharpSite. I should put a project out there. Project command. Enhancing SharpSite with the help of Copilot. And we'll put the link to the SharpSite website, which is, of course, sharpsite.org. There it goes. And I will pin that message to the top of Twitch chat. Yep, there we go. Any more information about the visor glasses? Not yet. There was a post. Let me show you this. There was a post on Dell's website. Are you kidding? Dell Visor blog post. Here it is. Where Dell is promoting this. That's interesting. So this is the concept, and let me tell you, it works amazing. The software works amazing at this. I don't have the hardware yet, but Dell is promoting this. I will share this link in chat so that if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, you can get access to this link. And there's an AI assistant that they've been building and tuning called Curator that they want to hook up to assist and work with the visor and the immersed experience. This feels like the agent capabilities that Microsoft is promoting on Windows. So, Lots coming with this, and it's amazing to see Dell promoting this. I still think that visor device looks really cool. So, yeah, running local LLMs on Windows. Yep, the large language models running locally. So, all right. So, nothing new has come yet, but looking. No announcements yet this morning. They like to do announcements on Tuesday mornings. I don't see anything yet. So, moving on. So let's head back here. There it is. Ta-da! And the GitHub repository over here. So, all the code that we've been working on here for the product. 6 tests, 6 runs, failure on the end-to-end test. That makes me feel wonderful. And all kinds of information. And there's our friends that have contributed. Let's see what we can do to get it to... Right? And we've got some items here. Let me look at the milestone. This one, for installation and startup. I thought there was. Create installation getting started instructions. This I think we can let Copilot just generate for us. Based on how it runs. It's ironic that the author of the blog post, his last name is Glass. Yeah. I think the vibe coding only gets so far. And there's points where we need to step in, write some code to nudge it along. I did have an issue out here to improve the README. Yeah. Add more badges and logo to the README. Do we have some of those items? For stars and that thing? No. Change over to the branch that we're actually working on. Over here. No. Let's start simple here. Right? I'm going to close these two. And I don't want editor inline chat. I want open chat. And I want this to open in the editor because you can't see it when it's docked over here on the right. It really struggles with just released packages that aren't documented. Yes, Chuck, I've absolutely seen that. Yes. I'm going to flip this over to agent mode. I guess that's all right. And we have new tools available. Sure. Okay. I'm going to add the README here. Improve the README for SharpSite to include more information about the features that are completed, comma, how to get started, comma, and some of the planned features that we're working on. Let's see what it does. You like Dev Home and now it's gone? Unfortunately, not enough people like Dev Home. So, here we go. Let's see what it finds. I see a subscription just hit, but I don't see... There it is. Cappy Dave. Thank you so much for the subscription.
Cappy Dave.
Appreciate you joining us. Thank you very, very much. What's the latest, Cappy Dave? What you working on? All right, so it's analyzing, it's done some research, and it's going to update the README. Cool. And I don't want these streams to be just to be just Copilot, hey, go do this streams. I think that's boring. I think we want to have the interaction, have some of the fun here. However, there might be some opportunities for hijinks and craziness as the Charlie chatbot finishes and comes online here to help out. And while we're waiting for AI to do things like this, have some fun, chat, and play games, that kind of thing. So I'm getting my gunners ready here. I haven't worn the Marins in a little bit. Oh, yeah, look at that. Looks like it's looping. I don't know. Let me add a system requirements section, fix some of the markdown formatting issues. Fantastic. Yeah, sure, do that. Put this somewhere else. Get rid of this. Let's see, what's it doing? A modern, accessible CMS built with .NET 9 and Blazor that combines the simplicity of traditional content management with the power of modern web development. Okay. SharpSite aims to be a highly customizable content management system that adapts to your website needs, whether you're a non-technical user looking to create a simple blog or a developer wanting to build a complex web application. SharpSite provides the flexibility to customize as little or as much as you need using HTML, Markdown, C#, or Blazor code. Getting started, clone the repository, ensure you have .NET 9 SDK, run the application using your preferred method, open this, open that, use the command line, ta-ta. That's not right. Default administrator account. Okay. Did it change anything down here? Nope. Nope. Good. Now here, look at this. Here's where it's looping. Let me try a different approach, make changes in smaller chunks. A troubleshooting section, a section about how to create... we need to fix the getting started section to indicate starting the app host project instead of the SharpSite web project. We also need to specify that Docker or Podman needs to be installed. Let's see what we get here. You love the streams? Thank you, Cappy Dave. Appreciate it. We want a code not to instruct Copilot. Totally agree, Patty. Totally agree. That's why I let it generate README stuff. Recently retired software engineer, still need to dabble. I feel the same way. Like, even when I'm away on holiday, let me dabble with some of these. I don't want to think too much, but let me dabble a little bit. Yeah. Hope it doesn't create a syntax error. Yeah, I agree. This feels weird that it has problems updating the file, and then it's like, well, I'm having problems. You fix this. Come on now. You're here for Jeff doing the code. Agree. Agree. In the places where I can let Copilot suggest something, go do that. Eliminate the toil, the things that I don't like doing, and let me focus on the fun parts that we enjoy writing and solving together. I can then back out and say, okay, Copilot, look at this, optimize this, let me know, do some analysis and tell me more about it. See, now it's having, I can't write the file. Now, here it ran out of tokens, and it's going to say, well, I can't update anything more. and it's going to start over. Ugh. So, let's see here. You're here to see how I fix the issues that arise as code is being created, whether code is created by templates, frameworks, wizards, or AI. Totally agree. You never use Copilot like that? Is it work only on the open tab, or can be understand the scope of the project? It understands the scope of the project. It will look and discover the rest of the project to figure out what to do. See, it started over. What? See, it's having problems editing the file. Like, yeah, it gets stuck. So it just removed 6 lines. Okay. Did you? Holy smokes. So there's the updates. It removed these features entries, system requirements, getting started, run database migrations. No. No. It doesn't have content moderation tools yet. Payment processing integration, WordPress import wizard, mobile app for content management. Okay. Developer features, enhanced plugin development tools, API documentation samples, custom theme development kit, performance optimization. Nice. Unhip Coder.
Unhip Coder just resubscribed for 50 months. 50 month. Happy Tuesday.
That looks much better, but I think here I need to tell it remove the database migration stuff. Remove the setup instruction for database migrations. SharpSite does this itself. Allow the markdown to generate the numbers for the steps in the README. And terrible at that formatting. It doesn't understand anything. Agreed, Ryan. It doesn't understand so much as it's gluing together text. 50 months on HipCoder. That is awesome. Happy Tuesday to you. It's close in both ways. You write something that changes your code. Yeah. Right? Now, here, stop whining about updating the code. Like, that's right. So it gets into this file locking problem. So it removed the database migrations. And it still kept the numbers down the side. Whatever. I think that's better. Oh, sure. Restart that. Don't mind if I do. And give me the source control update. We're not on that one right now. You go away. I don't need to see that. Thank you. I love the generate a commit message for me help that Copilot gives me right there. I think that is a killer feature for me. All right. You go away for now. We were working on the database startup initialization process. Look at the git commit history and tell me where we left off in building the database initialization steps. No. So there's an MCP that knows how to reach into the git history here. Examine the git commit logs and tell me where we left off in building the database initialization scripts. Yeah. Tell me where we left off, and we'll dive back in there. So, there you go. It's going to run a command to check the git commit logs. Yes, do that. You got an ad for a Switch 2 out of curiosity. Am I getting a Switch 2? I don't know. I'm not getting one in the initial delivery. I think I think I need to wait and see a little bit more about what's coming. The initial announcement of the Switch doesn't impress me. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch. Here we go. Go ahead. Take a look. And it's hitting a... There we go. Yeah, I'm not initially looking at getting a Switch 2. I have a Switch and I barely play it. So here it is examining the next. Here's where we left off. Okay. Where database plugin configuration was implemented. This is very cool. To be able to get it to remind me, hey, here's where we left off. Right? That's pretty handy. Was done on the Spike database. Okay, was implementing step 3. Database initialization process includes setting up 2 Postgres databases, SharpSite security, implementation of database management interfaces. I manage database, create database, update database. Max length, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's the migrations. Database configuration is handled in step 3, which collects database connection information, formats connection strings, okay, creates a database if it doesn't exist, runs all pending migrations. That sounds pretty complete from where we left off. The last major changes were focusing on configuring the database of the setup with all the necessary migrations in place. The system is set up to use Postgres as the primary database system. Okay. So let's go to step 3 of the startup. Blah, 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 blah. Let's configure database connection string, database configuration, which is this. Label for each one of the fields with the finish button at the bottom. Okay. Save field value, return connection string. Okay. That feels like it's complete. So after it validation, okay. So it sets those, saves the field values because you clicked finish. Well, finish doesn't have. Well, it's inside of an edit form. On valid submit return connection string. On valid submit invoke async. Okay, so that's should be wired up here. Sets the content connection string. Set that. Save application state. Create new data storage. Register Postgres security services. So here's someplace where we're tightly coupled to Postgres right now. And we're going to need to break this. Yeah, this does all that registration goo. Oh, man. All right. So let's talk this through. We're in the middle of configuring the application. We've told it, here's where the database is. And we put in a command here that says create new data storage. Right? And that's in here. And it's going to do the migrate async for all of our content management tables. Cool, right? That's a Postgres specific thing because we chose the Postgres plugin. I'll come back to your question, Napalm. So that's working indirectly because it's using an I database, right? It's using the abstraction for data storage. So this part we need to abstract so that the security pages and services can be launched and added can be launched and added at startup time. Let me explain. There's a hard coding in here right now that does the Postgres plugin. So what we're trying to do, if I remember where we left off, we're trying to make this plugin driven. Oh, hold on to your butts on this one, right? I have that one somewhere, right? That's a thing, right?
What's that?
No, not that one. It's somewhere over here, right? Man, I really need to give you folks more control over these things because I can't find it. I can't. Wait a sec. Oh, that's different. Similar, but different. No, is it over here? Yeah.
Hold on to your butts.
We're in the startup script. And we want to make this dynamic based on the plugin that's loaded here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Let me park that for a minute and head back over to chat here. Right over here. Can we talk about how expressive C# is? Sometimes you just got to sit back and say, damn, that looks good and readable. It is, but for us as technology folks, it looks good and readable. Even if you're a JavaScript developer or a Java developer, you can read C# code pretty closely. You can derive a little bit of what's going on here without knowing some of the exact things that are going on, right? Just like as a C# developer, I can read Java code and I've got a pretty good idea what's going on. I can follow it. Same thing with JavaScript and TypeScript code. I can follow it. Can I write more? I don't know the objects as well as I should, the libraries. I think Copilot can help with that and make me a more effective TypeScript developer, JavaScript developer, Java developer. So I think there's options there. So you're from C and C++, says DJ Deepex, and it's easy for them to read the C# code. Totally. Yeah. Okay. Oops. I'm getting used to where the microphone is now because it's really right in front of my face. So two things. We need to back up and right here. This bit I run at startup. Go back to this. I manage database. Oh, that's a good one, Weird Beard Dev. You ask Copilot questions like, how do I do this C# thing in PHP or some other language? Yes. That's a great suggestion. Let me go look back at, not the web project. Not that project. I think it's in a plugins folder now. Yeah. So we have the configure. I configure data storage that knows how to format a connection string, create the new storage, update the data storage, test the connection. And we have the register plugin capabilities here. Yes. So let's add a method to this. Register providers. Make things more concise is a great question to ask the AI. Yes. Add a method to register the to allow the plugin to register services at startup. Add services at startup. That's what I like. But am I missing? I'm missing a using statement. Okay. Give me a summary block here to update. No, that's not what it does. This method is called to register. It allows the application to add necessary services. Looks good. Yes. Parameter name app returns. We can get rid of this. Yes. The application being configured. Sure, good enough. All right, so now I can go back over here, and let's tell it implement interface, add services at startup, not implemented exception. Okay. Actually, wait a sec. Did I do that with this? I might have done that with this. I might be overthinking this. Hang on. Stop the press. Yeah. Hit the brakes. Where's the plugin manager? Plugin manager. Right, there's a whole thing. Register with service locator. Did I do this declaratively with... I might have. Hang on. I did. Okay. Undo that. We don't need that. Ugh. All right. Don't need that. Good. Gobi's Basement. How you doing over there on YouTube? Watching from India. Oh my gosh, it must be late in the evening there, right? Finally get to see me live? Yes! How are you there, Gobi's Basement? Welcome. What time is it where you are? Let us know. Great to welcome in folks that finally catch me when I'm broadcasting live. Yes, yes. So, we've got a handful of folks watching on YouTube. Okay. I feel like I need a... and let's add... Update the documentation in the plugin architecture MD doc with information about the services that the plugin manager will register automatically for us. Let's get it to update that information. Here we go. Two main ways for services to get registered. Class is decorated with register plugin. Class is implementing SharpSite configuration. No response was returned. You stink! Try that again. It was doing the right thing, but I wanted to create this documentation so that it remembers it, so that in the future, we can tell Copilot, generate a plugin. Here's the architecture rules. Go. And let it generate some of the plugins that we want. Huh? Huh? I think you're not impressed, chat room. Look, it's amazing, right? Okay. Updated to add some information. Automatic service registration. There we go. Class is decorated with the register plugin. Will automatically register. The following plugin types are supported. Yes. Cool. Good. So I'll tell it to look at that documentation. Project documentation. If you are working on plugin capabilities, reference the plugin architecture MD document in the doc folder. Right? So now my GitHub Copilot instructions knows that if it's working on a plugin, here's where to go find the documentation and discover and work and hopefully deliver better quality suggestions for us, right? So, yeah. Did I delete the... I did. I deleted the Copilot. I closed the Copilot window. Grab this. Grab that. Verify and update the content of the plugin architecture. Right? I didn't spell that right. Architecture. Document based on the features implemented in Plugin Manager. Let's see what it suggests. Not necessarily going to accept the suggestions, but let's see what it suggests and plugin install. Not bad. Oh, I put this in ask mode. I didn't put this in agent mode. Cool. Apply that. Show me where the updates are. Somewhere down in here. Current implementation process, blah, 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 blah. Cool. It's somewhere down here. All right. Keep that too. And we'll want a writing your first plugin document as well. Do I see a future where multiple models work together to produce a resulting output? Yes. Agent-to-agent flows. Yes. Multi-agent flows. Yes. He does love when it rains tokens. And that's where I think you're going to see more and more folks as our workstation capabilities improve. More folks are going to want to run the LLM locally to minimize the number of tokens that they're paying OpenAI or Azure for. And I get it. I do. On the other side of that, though, you're paying for Fritz's kids to go to college every time you use that AI. So that's a thing. Okay. That's fine with that. So I do have a way that it will bootstrap that then at program time. So when it does add plugin manager and app state, plugin manager initialize. Where is the plugin manager? where is it actually doing the registration? Let's stay in ask mode. And let's also add program. Explain to me how plugin manager registers services at startup in program. Yeah, not just data privacy concerns, but of course data privacy is a huge part of that, but security, IP, those are important things there. Ollama didn't do tool calling, but the model has to support tool calling. 5.3 Mini does this. Okay. I was trying to use Llama 3.2. Which leads to a feature, Eric, that I think is missing from the API. If you're trying to get the API to do something with the model that the model doesn't support, raise an appropriate error. Don't just not do it. But either raise an appropriate error, right? Or give me a message back that says, I don't support doing that. So when I'm registering tools to work with Llama 3.2, and if Llama 3.2 doesn't support calling tools, tell me that. Don't make me spin on this and try and figure out why isn't this working. My gosh, this is... Load plugins at startup is called during app initialization. Okay. This method adds the plugin manager itself, adds the application state, adds memory cache services. It does. Okay. Scans the plugins directory for installed plugins. For each plugin, read the manifest if there's a matching DLL. Load plugin, plugin assembly manager, register with service. Use reflection to scan all types, blah, blah, blah. Register services for each of these things. Okay. The process starts with add plugin manager and app state. Where is that? It's up there. And that does this. Yeah. Where's that called? In Activate Plugin Manager. Where's that called? So it registers it way up here, activates it here, and that's where it's going and doing all the registering. Right, get required service, load plugins. Oh, it registers it with its internal one. That's right. Okay. Okay. I'm good with this. This is fine. All right, I understand where we left off now. So I should be able to go into here and remove that. We're getting there. Llama 3.2 should have worked. Yeah. Do I think the implementation differences of AI tooling across IDEs are significant enough to potentially shift my current opinion of AI agents in vibe coding? Cursor versus VS Code. That's a great question. No, not yet. Folks have been trying to do vibe coding with Cursor, and they keep stumbling and falling on their face. Because you get so far into it, and you hit this conundrum where you need to know a little bit more and give it that push. Yeah, and it happens to everybody. But there are points where you'll be able to pause and reach in there and say, go refactor this. And it does a really nice job of those things. So I think I now need to look at this part. Let's try and run this. I'm not going to run it inside here. Let's go over to the console. Source. SharpSite app host. And let's .NET watch that, John, and see what happens. So it's been a long time since I've started this, so it's gonna take a little bit to get things cranking up here. While that's running, let me just double check a couple text messages and the like. Okay. Almost done starting. Good. Good. And my younger daughter is she's dealing with some of the problems that she's had over the last month. Okay. There we go. So, I did share. Okay, that looks good. I did share that my. All right. My younger daughter is. She's dealing with some issues because she was the victim of a crime. And today is her court date. So I offered to go and be there, to sit in the back of the room, to help in any way. And she turned down my offer. I said, I'll even sit in the car. I'll sit out in the courtroom. If you need somebody to help with driving and like, I'll be there for you. She said no. But I'm keeping an eye on my phone here as she goes through this process. So it has absolutely changed the way that she interacts with other people for the negative. And I'm not happy about that. So, thank you, DJ Deepak. So, let's call this my site just to get things started here. Next. Initial appearance. Do you want a logo? No, skip that. Database storage for my site. That looks awful. That looks terrible. We need to fix this. This is step 3. Step 3. All right. Let's see what this can do. Let's start off. Save this information into the plugin architecture document in the doc folder. Go do that. At this point, we need to choose a database plugin, don't we? So right now, there's only one database plugin. I think step 3 should be choose an available database plugin with an option at some point to go browse to a location to find database plugins. Database plugin might even be but a data storage plugin. Yes. There we go. Go ahead, go update that. So maybe we need to add that first, even though, yes, there is only one plugin. Hey there. Ooh. Is that the Shelsuk? Hello, welcome. Let me see. Down here, default plugins. There's the file system plugin. I don't think... There it is installed. So, fixing some formatting issues, that's fine. But I want it to save that documentation here. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Save that information. Good. Thank you. Keep those changes. We're going to talk about something else now. I'm going to take a look at page 3. There's a lot of text on this screen, and the database configuration fields are run off the bottom of the screen. Refactor this so that everything fits on one screen with no scrolling. Let's see what it offers us. So I'm going to go over here to step 3, and let's open you off to the side here. So make the text more concise, use a more compact layout. Keep only the essential information. Okay, sounds good. Maybe a drop down with all the installed database plugins. Yes, that's somewhere that we absolutely want to go. Ooh, okay. Now, I ran with .NET Watch, so it's hot reloading in the background over here. Huh? Huh? Continuing. Let's put the text describing this process in a panel to the left of the database configuration component. Let's see if it helps. And here's what I'm going to do. Let's open this. To create a 2-column design with explanatory text on the left and database configuration on the right. You like the agent mode because it gives you time to think. I like agent mode because it gives me time to chat with you. Sounds like a good sound effect. Jeff going, eh? While demoing something working. Eh? What? No. No, there is no JavaScript there. No JavaScript has been held here. Add a placeholder for server name with the localhost or the IP the setup is running. That's not bad. Would I also like to add the Bootstrap icons package? That would enhance the visual appearance of the database information. Sure. Let's see what it does. Like,
Oh my.
indeed. Like, let's try and see what it gets. Need some spacing between the finish and the port? Yeah. Yeah. So, I like where you're suggesting we go here. Let's insert a step that happens. It was loud. My apologies. Let's insert a step that refreshes this page. Call it step 3A. Select your database provider. No end then. No end then. Add the necessary style sheet link. Did you? Yep, there it is. Okay. And what are you going to put in here? Let me enhance the left panel with more descriptive icons. Ooh. Let's reduce the size of that text just a little bit. And create a little bit of spacing over here. Will that save the data securely into secrets? Not yet. We'll get there. Fancier. That. Okay. Let's also add this. Reduce the size of the text labels in the database configuration and add some padding around the finish button. Icon overload? Not quite yet. We're getting there. Maybe a test connection in next? That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Charlie should have end then think slot. I like that too. Getting a little bit bigger over here. Shrink the width of the database configuration and reduce the font size in the text description on the left. Right. Working on UI like this, let it go figure that out. Let it go figure that out. And I like the idea of adding a test connection button at the bottom. Here we go. And so we want to add the ability to choose one of the available database plugins. What is that? No. No. No, no, no. No. Make the panels wider with less content wrapped so that they are shorter on the screen. Let's see what it does. It's like the CSS that thinks inside the box, right? Fix this, please, and describe the changes with words from a 90s criminal. Oh my gosh. Does it help if we send a screenshot? We can ask it. We can ask Playwright to get a screenshot and analyze it, because I have the Playwright MCP available. No. Where did it, database configuration? I want the panels even wider. With the labels for database configuration to the left of their text boxes. Does it support screenshots? Accept screenshots? Yes, it does. Yep. Here it goes. Let's see what we get here. And then I think we ask it to add test connection. And I think we also need to have this accept and use some connection information that's been passed in. Oh my God, that's hideous. What are you doing here? No! In the left panel, stack the entries vertically. In the database configuration, make the panel wide enough that the labels do not wrap. That's awful. This is one issue I found with Copilot. Once it gets too far away from what it already had, it doesn't seem to be able to undo. Yes. And it's, I think it's fun and interesting to watch the UI update with hot reload. Sometimes hand coding just works. You're totally right. You're totally right. Better. Yeah, I think I needed an. It already did. No. Make the left panel on this screen wider without reducing the size of the right panel, and remove the borders around both panels. I want only a single vertical line to appear down the middle between the two panels. Let's see what it comes up with. Fluent UI, Blazor.net, Wizard. Get this a little bit better, and we'll roll in the test connection button. And we'll also add that step 3A, select from one of the database providers. Better. How was progress today? How you doing, Oakleus? I think we're moving along here. All right, let's keep those changes and let's add do this. I want to be able to test the database connection information keyed into the form before the user clicks finish. Let's just see what it does. Agent mode means the LLM has the tooling to be able to modify anything in the project files. Yeah. Commit? Maybe. Add validation on field changes, add a visual indicator of the connection status, ensure proper error handling. All right? What are you going to do? Agent mode does mean that I have given it access to be able to update it. Doing a prototype and share it later on Discord? Yeah. Or put it on... Oh, you're going to do a prototype and share it later. Cool. Okay. Let's see here. Enhance the user experience. Visual feedback, a success message in green when the connection is valid, error message when in red when connection fails. Finish button is disabled until valid connection is established. Clear validation messages when the connection is successful. Immediate feedback as users type or modify fields. New private fields to track connection status and validity. Status changed. Async support for validation. It says it hot reloaded. So, right, it passed into here. So there's a couple pieces here. We need to be able to accept this. Database name. SharpSite. There it is. Username. No. Password. Is this trash? I do not see it doing the thing. Is it doing the thing? Async method lacks await operators in database configuration. There's an error on line 100 about async operators. Fix it. So when is this being called? I don't think it actually loaded. Did it? No. Where are you? Yeah, now it doesn't like it. It's not returning anything, though. That's not actually being called anywhere. Validate connection isn't called from anywhere and needs a please wire this up to a test connection button. Fix it! Fix it! Yes. Place it next to it, style it differently. Good. Good. Building cannot await void. Yeah. So it made it async task. Right there, it's awaiting it. And now it's going to get a little wonky trying to save and add this button. Yeah. Wrapping it in a task run. Really? It wants a Boolean coming out of this. I don't think that's going to work. Maybe I'm wrong. All right. Yep, skip that. I have a test connection button now. Finish is disabled. That doesn't do anything yet. Good. So, localhost, username. Hey, that's still there. Cannot connect to the database. Womp womp. It's not port 5432. It's port this one. Or it's not. Here. Change the port. Connection successful. Fantastic. Okay, so we have a test connection button. It looks like crap still. Crap. Where's that? On step 3. This outer container needs to be wider, like 900 pixels wide. Like, I could put a style in there that forces it. Yeah, there we go. Better. Better. That, I think, is a little bit closer to what we were looking for. So keep those changes. I like the idea of dropping a commit now. Tell me what all the changes are here. Yep. Okay. Update this file to include, to inspect configuration if we're in the development environment and running in and a connection strings, right? Connection string SharpSite. Configuration value has been submitted. If that is available, default the values in the fields provided. Have a good one, Ceramo. There we go. Double underscore, did I? We'll fix it. Maybe this kind of button, a spinner button. That's not a bad idea. While that's loading, let's take a look at the suggestion there. I like that. And when it is connected, change the style of it. I'm going to save that, retain that, and we'll update this in just a second. Uses the parse connection string that can parse a connection string into individual fields. Okay. Come here. Do this again. Restart. Green on success, red on error. I like that, DJ Deepex. Yeah. Good idea. Let's apply that next here. My site, skip a logo. I want that logo to be bigger. And it didn't... Inject I configuration. If environment is development, dev connection string, database config, parse connection string. It deleted the validate connection. Oh no, it just moved it down. Oh. Requires restarting the application. Don't mind if I do. Doo-doo-doo-doo. iConfigure does not contain a definition for parse connection string. What? I configure data storage, configuration fields, test connection, create new data storage, format connection string. So we need one that goes the other way. It assumes that we have that. Okay. Add the new method to the iConfigure data storage interface. I only have one underscore but need two. Okay. Well, actually, that works. Here we go. Parse connection string. Yep, let me add the implementation for Postgres. Fantastic. Fantastic. And then we'll update the button presentation here. I'm going to need to repackage the plugin. So here's what it did for Postgres. Looks good. Looks good. It's not going to work. It's building. Yeah. And it's not in there yet because I need to rebuild the plugin. Oh boy, here we go. I wonder. Yeah, the error codes over there, they're ugly. I wonder. I wonder. There's been updates to the Postgres plugin. Using the documentation in the plugin architecture document, repackage the increment the version number, and repackage the plugin, the Postgres plugin. I wonder if it's going to be able to do this. I wonder. Let's see what it does. Okay. Okay. This might be good. Right, if it figures out and does this repackaging for us, oh my gosh. It's not looking in the bin folder for it. Let's see what it thinks here. This is interesting. Like, we developed and specified this whole thing, and we were building it by hand and modifying and updating and repackaging. Created a changelog text. Really? Okay. Now let's package everything. Let's check what files need to be included. Reading the folder. Okay. Okay. Build succeeded. Look at this. Sure. Now it should see that it couldn't find... No, you didn't build the debug. And it needs to rename the file also. Sure looks like it. Compressed it and put it in plugins, SharpSite. So let's go take a look over there. What do we got up in here? Ooh, boy. Okay. Wow. Oh my gosh. King Jufan.
King Ufon just resubscribed.
Tier
for
2.
6 months.
6 months at Tier 2. Thank you so much. How you doing there, King? Hello. Great to see you. Let me do this. I'm going to jump over here. Go into the SharpSite folder. And let's take a peek around here. How's it going? Thank you so much. Really appreciate the support. It was down in here, and it wrote that file. And there's a... Where'd that staging? It's under plugins. There's a staging folder. This. I think that needs... Where'd it go? Down in here. SharpSite Postgres data plugin. And it's right there. Yeah. Longtime Shadow viewer. Thank you. That is very kind. And please, it is just fine to be hanging in the shadows and lurking and supporting. I love that. I really appreciate it. You're always welcome there. There's never any pressure to talk, to chat. But if you have questions, you want to say hello, I'm happy to greet you and say thank you just for being here. It's great to have folks hanging out. Interacting, not interacting, it's all good. Yuck. That's what I have to say about this. Yuck. I'm going to cheat. Go into here. I don't like the way that turned out. So I'm just going to delete it for now. You know what I'm saying? Debug net9. And it's this one. I'm just going to copy it in for right now, you know. Over here. This one. And delete that one. Paste in the name. All right. Restart so it reloads all the things. And hopefully we get there. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I know. All right. My site. Ooh. I think we're okay. So this should be step 3, but it still didn't bring in. It still didn't bring in the configuration there. So this didn't work. Go away. What? No. Okay. I'm going to close you, this, and that. This is actually open over there. I don't care about you right now, or you, or this, or that. Let's hide this. I'm going to move Copilot off to the side here. Inside here. Let's do this the old-fashioned way. So on parameter set, if environment is development, let's console. Yeah, let's see if that does a thing there. Really? File updated, no changes to apply. Fine. Development environment detected. Okay, so we're in there. Good. So yeah, do that. File updated. Good. Refresh. Nothing. Debug that, John. Oh. What was it? There was a phrase that I started saying at build. Copilot that, John. I'm going to make that a thing. Microsoft folks are going to hate me. I'm going to make that a thing. Copilot that, John. Book it. I've coined it. It's... Copilot that, John. $11. Copilot that John.ai. That feels more like where it should be, but $100? I'm not paying $100. No. No. Oh, smirking squiggly. Hang on. Friends, look at this. Look at this. Copilot explains the phrase Copilot that John combines two elements. Copilot, likely referring to me, Microsoft Copilot, which assists users with tasks like writing, coding, and brainstorming. John, a Philadelphia slang term that can mean anything, a thing, a place, a person, or even an idea. So Copilot that John could mean using Copilot to help with something unspecified, like generating text, solving a problem, or assisting with a task. It's a fun way to say, let Copilot handle it. Yes. Yes. $649 with Newcom 649. What's that? I'm not a new customer. Let's go get it. I am going and getting it right now. Copilot Yins? No. Double checking things here as I'm doing the authenticator two-step. Authenticator needs like a search here because I've got so many things that are two-factor with their own separate codes and whatnots. Yes, I want Copilot that John.com. Add it to my cart. What? 12 items in my cart. Oh. No. I was trying to get Maddie.net. And there's just too much going on there. Hang on. I might need to step away here. Checking. Yeah, domain privacy, all that stuff. That's what I want. Payment details. I hate this. No. Do that. And Another two-factor authentication. There we go. Hurry, get it typed in. Excuse me for a minute while Fritz buys a domain name. Yes. Got it. Got it. All right. Copilot that John is going to become a thing. I just registered the domain name. Copilot.john.com. There's nothing there yet, but I'm going to build it out over the next month or so. Oh yeah. Another site like Aspirify, totally. Congratulations on purchasing your 3,000th domain. Now. Ad starts in about 2 minutes. No, not John. Jawn. Jawn. Whatever. It's a Philly thing. Very Philly thing. So let me talk about that in just a minute. Let me make this phone call. Or not. What happened? No. Okay. I'm gonna hang tight and see if that actually comes through then. Whatever. All right, let's move on. First real website with SharpSite? Maybe. Can't wait to see what appears. Oh, I've got ideas. Oh, I've got ideas. I want to share with you. I delivered a workshop twice at Microsoft Build during the event, teaching folks how to get started with .NET Aspire. And I can tell you every single one of the students who were a part of those workshops gave it the highest, and submitted evaluations, gave it the highest rating. Strongly agree on high value from that content. That's phenomenal. I am really happy to see that. That affects my review. That affects some of the ways that the folks in the event team consider me when I go and submit other content to present at Microsoft events. So thank you out there to everybody that participated as part of those labs at Microsoft Build. Thank you for those kind evaluations. We had a couple of typos, a couple of errors in the code that we fixed along the way live during the workshop, and we gave folks some feedback. Hey, this needs to be updated. There were a ton of fixes we did the night before the first presentation to make sure that the code and the text was right and clear. And there were some things that folks didn't completely understand that we cleaned up for that delivery. Yes. Typos happens. And I can tell you that in July, this July, we're going to deliver 2 workshops. We're going to take that workshop that was a hands-on, do-it-yourself, and we're available to help you out type of workshop. We're going to take it and expand it out to 8 hours with the full Q&A, the Fritz standing in front of the code, interaction, to teach everybody all about how to use .NET Aspire. And we're expanding that content. In the lab, we had 5 modules that we worked through. We're opening this up, and we're going to have at least 12 modules. Probably closer to 15 as I've been enhancing and adding content to it. That is a free workshop that you'll be able to watch here on the Twitch channel, on the YouTube channel. There's been a lot of promotion going on about this. It's going to be great. The second workshop we're going to present is all about using .NET to interact with AI and how you can use AI to improve your applications. Not using Copilot to build your application, but how to put AI features into your application. That's the call I was waiting for. 1 second here. Let me take this. All right. Good. That was a different call that I wasn't expecting, but that's okay. So, to finish, we're going to show you how to add AI into your application. That's going to be another 8-hour stream. They are 2 Fridays back-to-back in July. Completely free. You can tune in and watch. I have a number of organizations that are going to be supplying some promotional prizes, that are going to be promoting these events out to all kinds of different places on the net so that more folks learn about it and tune in and learn about some of the cool stuff that we do here on this stream. Skynetify your applications. Marcus, I like the way you're thinking, but with about 100% less Terminator. Fritzify your app. Okay, Patty, I like that one. I like that one. Stand by. Copilot Microsoft Con. Yeah, go over here. Copilot, I'm talking to you. What's on my mind today? Think about this a little bit. The internet software development influencer Jeff Fritz, aka C# Fritz, is coining a term, Fritzify your application. Based on his style, what would this bring to your application? Let's see what it says. Fritzify another domain purchase? I don't know. That's just what you were thinking? But what does that mean? Less automated tests. Wait a sec. Wait a sec! Ooh, look at this. He's not merely suggesting a superficial upgrade or simple rebranding. Instead, it's a call to reimagine your app with a modern integrated approach that fuses containerization, automation, and security into a dynamic ecosystem. Based on his style, Fritzifying your application means embracing a holistic transformation where your development practices are as lively and forward-thinking as the tools and platforms you use. This can invoke a deep dive into modern microservices architecture, where individual components are containerized, self-managing, and ready to scale on demand. In practice, wow, there's a lot here. Ultimately, to Fritzify your application is to equip it with a set of robust, automated, and creative enhancements that drive productivity while keeping you at the forefront of software innovation. I like that. I just saved the cost of a marketing exec. Where's that DD Walsh? DD! And look, it referenced Aspirify. Look at that. You might also explore how such a transformation can tie into continuous integration and deployment pipelines, leverage cloud-native services for further scalability. I need this in... I need this for later. Thank you, Copilot. You weren't completely worthless. Moving on. Vibe coding to the max. We're just generating text. We're not vibe coding. I need to dig in and find out why this isn't presenting that connection string. Tests are the bubble wrap that lead to fearless coding. Ooh. That's good. I've always referred to tests as your insurance policy, but I like that. Tests are the bubble wrap. Nice. Nice. I wanted to check back over here. Where is it? View details. Connection strings __ SharpSite. Yeah. Can we just check that? Can we just say... Let's take this, right? Move this up here. Delete you, this. Put one of these here. And we're going to do that. Delete this over here. Paste that in. Get rid of some of this. Delete that. Put one of these right there. Yeah, go ahead, update that. I don't know what it did. What did it do? Cool. Show me what we got. That should have rebuilt. File update. No C# up changes to apply. Wanna bet. Refresh that. Using development connection string. No connection string. No connection string. But it's right there. Restart that. What do we got here? Napalm says, took my advice and built a dev API in the Aspire project for seeding queue data. Nice. Yeah. And then exclude from manifest. So let me come back to that. Back over here. My site. Skip that. Didn't find the connection string. Didn't find the connection string. Why not? Ooh, because that's not the thing. Let's call this app config. Because it was reaching into the wrong thing. Now, what do we get? Yeah. I don't know what all this stuff is. It's from it restarting, I think. Yeah, that sounds good. Refresh that. Warning! Uh-oh. Eat broke. I think I know what I did there. When I changed that to app configuration, the database config got lost. Right? Where's database config? That's not a thing yet. How did we have this? To the diff! Okay, so we injected a bunch of that stuff. Okay. Yeah. Where did it create database config? That doesn't make sense. It's being passed in. Okay. Okay. So what's it? Yeah. Okay. Jump over here. Right. My site. Next. Skip that. And it can't find the connection string. Why can't it find the connection string? Huh. Think, Fritz, think. Let's go back over to program. No. So where am I losing it? Isn't it like that? Let's take a look. Found it. You were right. You were right, Moumst. Yes. So it detected it, but it still hasn't put the values into the fields. We're getting somewhere. Database config. Parse connection string. Okay. What? Yeah, parse connection string. Right there. Okay. So we should see it in here doing a thing. Now, yeah, parsing connection string. Good. Put that in there. Do that thing. It's not going to do it. Because that's compiled and sitting in a DLL that will need to reload. Oh boy. But it sure looks like that's... Let's assume it's doing that. Back over here. It's parsing it into underscore configuration. No. Write the... Yeah, do that. How are we doing over here? Yeah! Okay. So we've got it, but it's just not putting it into the content. So, get rid of that. I don't need that else. No. Copy the configuration fields into the configuration dictionary if not already set. So somewhere it's getting dropped in the middle there. Okay. Somewhere along the way, where'd it go? The dev connection string is lost when initially presenting this component. Fix it. I don't know. I've debugged and figured out. It looks like it's copying and bring. I had the wrong reference to it. Now we have it. So go replace it. Okay, that's fine. You're making sure that we don't have any configuration when you go to do this. Really? I don't think so. I don't think so. That didn't fix this. Now, it's taking longer because it's loading up all these instructions. Okay. We're going to need to figure that out. Yep. Still didn't find it. No. Suggested incorrect code. So undo that. I can't I clicked accept already. Ah, darn it. I'll clear that. So it have a good one. Thank you, Patty Boy. What's the name of the outfield in the parse method? Stand by. Configuration. It's not even an out. It's a dictionary that, because it's a reference type, it's passed by ref, and it's not being updated. Oh, look at you. So it's going to check, parse it, and put it into the underscore configuration. Let's only, if not already set. No. If it is null, or there aren't any, no, it's already doing that down here. I can add some logging to this. Why don't you like that? Because I didn't accept that yet. That's why. Come here. Okay. Okay, so it didn't do any of that. So I'm using the wrong field in the bit where I populate the text fields. For each field in underscore configuration, grab the field value and set it up. No, that's right. This is looking at the configuration fields that have been specified and looking to see, has it already been defined? And it's good on that. No, write the configuration fields to the console for debugging purposes. Yes, do that. We're just going to end up bringing this around with us. There it is. Okay. So it's still there. That's on validation requested. We're not doing anything in there. Is it not putting the value when it writes it? No, it's right there. Yeah, it's hard to see all of the code in one bit here. Let's move this. so that as it's right... Oh, right there! Got it. Got it. Connection successful. Okay. So we were right. It was reading from the wrong place. Let's take that other Bootstrap button update. Where was that? There was a Bootstrap. Yes, this. Check this out. Let's do hash fetch. Give it that. Update the test connection button to use this spinner formatting while testing the connection and updating the style, and update the style of the button to red or green with an appropriate icon to indicate successful connection. Right? Ads in 1 minute. Oh no. So here it fetched that documentation and now it's looking at it. All right, now here we go. So it's going to modify to add a loading state, button styles based on connection status. Here we go. Right in here is where we are expecting it. Or not. Is testing connection. Okay, sure. So now it's going to update the button. All right, yeah, right here. Do that thing. There we go. Border spinner and status. Yeah. Generate the button classes and update to validate connection. Yeah, sure. That sounds good. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, go do that. Hey, Arshad24. Hello. Welcome. How you doing? Ads are going to kick in here in just a minute for folks that have been hanging around watching. Checking for remaining errors. Good, good. Drat. Close that. It's over here. So now let's go back to the page. Test connection was successful. If I reload, fantastic. If it doesn't work, there we go. Let's remove that error message at the top. Remove the extra error message at the top when the connection fails. Too bad we cannot see. What do you mean you cannot see? Which job profile is more valuable in the current time? Software engineer or AI ML engineer? It's behind my head. It's... Oh, darn it. There you go. That's a little bit better. Right, so if I change that like this, connection successful. Yes. And when it doesn't work, it doesn't put that error up there. Cannot connect and we get the red. Cool. I like it. We should make that password box a password box. Right? When the field name is password or some type of key, make the text box a password text box. Let's see what it does. So up in here, as it's building the field, right there. If is secure field. Oh, well then. Please try again. Oh. Yeah, that's fine. Go do it again. Copilot didn't like me. Yeah, go. So I don't need to figure this out. You go do it. There you go. Or secret, sure. And then it'll just do a check, I guess, on those. Right? Come on. Well, that's fun. So it added a method. It's is secure field. Test button classes. Validate connection. There we go. Is secure field. If it contains that text. Fantastic. So now back over here. There we go. The password is a password field. Love it. Let me go back to step 3. Let me also add context for step 2. The SharpSite logo on step 3 is much smaller than on step 2. Increase the size of the logo. Would it make sense to have the option to enter in as a connection string? Sure. Maybe there's an advanced button that allows you to key in a connection string. So now what's it look like? Yeah, that's better. That's better. And over here. Add an advanced button that hides the existing fields and provides a connection string, label, and text box for advanced users. That makes sense. Like, I know how to do that, but go build this for me. There can be a checkbox to use SSL or not. I think that's specific to Postgres. There are other data storage that don't have that option. Let's see what this updated. You're not going to show me what you updated. You fool! What did you update? Toggle advanced mode. Return connection string. There it is. So if I go back over here, click into this, advanced mode. And if I click that, there's the connection string. When advanced mode is toggled on, show the connection string label and text box in a stacked layout. so that the text box can be the full width of the component. Like a text area you're talking about, not a password field. And I also think basic mode should be anchored to the left over there. Yeah, that's not bad. Move the basic advanced toggle to just above the buttons. Move it to the bottom. And just move it right there. There. Uh-oh. It's gone. Well, it says it's still working on it. Yeah, that works. So when are we going to have chat hooked up to Agent Move? That would be totally unsafe. However, I could see that being a channel point redemption. I could totally see that being a channel point redemption. Sorry, no response was returned. Well, it worked. Let's, what do we change in here? Yeah, add all that. Okay. I need to be able to select from one of the available data plugins. Hey, Fuel Snable. Hello. You knew saving all the points would come in handy? Yeah, let's work on that. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. That's interesting. Let's add a step before showing the form context and fields for configuring the database. Period. I want to be able to select a database plugin from the available plugins in the plugin manager and use that plugin to decide how to configure the database. Add a database plugin selection step before showing the connection. Yes. Okay. This might get a little dicey because we don't have a way to stage plugins without installing them. Only show plugins with the data storage feature. Hey. Use the selected plugin to get the configuration fields. Okay. Okay. This is a lot further a lot more advanced feature than we've tried to do before here. And clearly, this is becoming a complex component that we're building. But I'm really enjoying how Copilot is helping with this. Right? Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's see what happens here. Oh my gosh. Somebody made some purchases on the Redbubble site. Thank you. Very cool. I just got the notification of that. I just looked at my email where the notification was waiting for me, but very cool. Catching up here. Hey, Grego Waffles. Hello. I'm worried that we're kind of stuck here. Now, I do have Microsoft employee access to Copilot, so there are some more in-depth, more token usage things that I am granted the ability to do. Yeah. And because I'm an employee, the things that I am submitting to Copilot are being analyzed and used for further development. And you'll see that message when I clear the Copilot bit here. It did a lot there. And it doesn't work. Rebuild. Let me see. We can give it this feedback. No, Copilot can't understand those noises. Eh? What? There we go. So let's tell Copilot over here. I'm getting an error that plugin definition. Hang on. That's on 436. I bet you this is just a using statement we're missing. Right? Right here. It's not going to suggest. No. You stink. Right? Plugin definition. No. That's not a thing. Plugin definition isn't a thing. Fix it.
Inconceivable!
Yep. Yeah, good. Clean that up. Yeah, see? Come on. I'm.
Well, we're waiting.
Yes. You haven't seen this hat before? Right. Go ahead, take a look. You can do it. There you go. See?
You can do it!
And there you go. Tarnished truth. I can switch hats. I can switch hats. How about this one? Ha ha! Really? Does that compile? Async await in line 150. This is getting to be too big. The select database plugin method is throwing an async error. Figure it out. Yep, it is from Caddyshack. That was Ted Knight. That's right. I don't think it's going to let you fire the hat command just yet. Here we go. Now let's see what it's got. This one it should pick up and know very, very well. Yeah. Featuring the Microsoft logo. White text across the front. Empowering every person and every organization. Yes. Your formatting here is garbage. But that built. Let's try this again. My site. Skip. Hey. Hey. Select database provider. It's got it there twice. The select database provider section is shown twice. Don't do that. Yeah, it's there twice. Yeah, remove the duplicate section. That's right. This shouldn't take long. Do it. Thank you. Let's update this. Update the text on the left side. No. Yeah. Update the help text on the left side based on the state. I need to add step page 3. Based on the state of the database selection on the right side. There we go. Yeah, this is the old school Microsoft logo. I got this hat at Build 2 weeks ago. They had a little office space that was set up like the 1970s, and they gave me one of their hats that they were giving away. at that booth, at that station. So, yet another hat from work. I'm sure you're going to see this pop up at .NET Conf. So, let's see here. Oh my goodness, Webface!
Webface_CEA just resubscribed for 26 months. Vibe coding. My new favorite pastime.
I don't feel this is fully vibe coding, but I'm definitely asking it to do some of these simple things for me that I don't want to write the code for, so that I can focus on some of the more interesting parts. So it's going to update to return that state. Yeah, cool. Interesting. I'll have to talk more about that when I can. Very interesting. Shouldn't we integrate Clippy to the setup wizard? No, stop it. If anything, I'd suggest including my little bot icon in there somewhere. Right? The little bot emote. Update the component to connect everything. Okay, sure. This would have been a bunch of back and forth to get this working. There we go. So now, got to figure that out. We should write some tests for this. Select the database provider. Choose from available database plugins. This one. Configure Postgres content provider for my site. Yes. All right. Test the connection. Nice. I like this. Keep all that. yeah, keep all that stuff. Add it. Message it. Enhanced it by adding plugin selection. Yep. There we go. Push that up. We've got some next steps to do. Now that we have a database configuration, what happens when we click finish? Nothing. You go away. See, as an internal user, additional telemetry is collected from me. So, I don't work on a project containing customer content, but if I was, there's no telemetry. No telemetry collected. So, is it actually installing the Postgres plugin? It is not. We need to let's bring up the plugin manager. Plugin manager. Right now, it's looking at the list of plugins that are available and allowing you to choose one. We don't have a way to have plugins available but not installed. I have a problem, comma. The plugin manager only has plugins available when they've been installed on the website. Period. Suggest some ways that we can update the plugin manager to allow plugins to be available but not installed. Suggest some ways that we can... Yeah, there we go. I don't think I wanted agent. I probably wanted ask mode. Yeah, stop that. Ask. Try that again. And give me some suggestions. Create a plugin registry system. Create a model to track available plugins. Add registry storage. Add methods to scan for available plugins. Add install, uninstall methods. Update startup. To install plugin, uninstall plugin. Maintains a registry of available plugins. Separates available plugins from installed ones. Provides clear install, uninstall workflow. Let's look at this more. So create a plugin registry system with registry storage as a dictionary of available plugins. Add methods to scan for those. So there's the installed plugins. There will be an available plugins directory. Process those. So if we're installing, open the package path, load the plugin, handle it, save it, it's installed. To uninstall, go into the plugins and find the ID version string, remove it, mark it as false. Okay. Okay. So it's not actually installing it, but we would update to have it do this install process. Mark asks, what's the difference between ask and agent modes? Ah, okay. So this little thing right here. Ask is not allowing Copilot to make modifications to your code. You're asking it to inspect and give you feedback. Give me just text about this. Agent is saying, go do these things. You're my agent. You're my Copilot. You're my coworker. Go make these changes. Tell me the changes that you made so that I can review them, much like I would review a pull request. That's the difference between the two. Yeah, there you go, Mark. I've committed all of my changes up to this point, so I'm in a pretty safe place to say, go ahead and try implementing that, and let's see what we've get. Well, what we've get? This sounds good. Apply these suggested changes. And let's see what it does. So I want it to update plugin manager. I'm going to want it to update the database. So it's going to create the available plugin model. So here it goes with plugin manager. There's get available plugins. Good. There's the available plugin class. We'll move that to a separate file later. I could ask it to implement step by step. Yes. Now it's going to add the method to scan for available plugins. Get available plugins. Okay. What do we got? Update and initialize the available directory next to the plugins. So there's uploaded, dub root, and now an available where we'll store the ones that are available. Which then gives us the ability in the admin screens to upload a plugin, but not necessarily install it. So the assembly manager needs to remove the plugin also. So it needs to unload all of those things. Oh boy. Remove plugin, plugins.remove. If this was the current theme, remove the theme. Uh-oh. That could lead to a problem. Right? It could. To support getting and removing assemblies by ID. Okay. And now we're going to uninstall plugins. Cool. Like, this would have taken me a good hour or two to walk through all these things. Dot the I's and cross the T's on all of these. Okay. Okay. Let's take a look over here. Try that again. Like, I'm in a safe place that I can roll back and say, forget it. And it's the await issue again. 485 in plugin manager. Right, it's here. Let me do this. This isn't working the way that I have it right now. I'm going to mark this as work in progress. And I can roll this back. Adding the capability to got to take a phone call here, so I'm just going to end the stream, wrap this up and end the stream. Add the capability to Make plugins available without being installed. And we'll work through that. I'm going to push that out, make it available in the source code out on my out in my repository. So if you want to look at it, you can. It's out there, but I need to run and take a look at what's going on here. My daughter's having a problem and I need to help her out here. Do I ever worry about folks ever becoming over-dependent on AIs like Copilot or Cursor? Yes, we do. And that's why we stress that you should learn and watch and read what Copilot's doing before you just blindly accept what it's suggesting. We've done a bit here. We let Copilot generate a bunch of code for us, but we also went in and wrote some code ourselves to kind of nudge it along and drive it towards where we're going here. And I think that's a good use of Copilot to make us more productive, to build the things that we want faster and move towards where we want this to end up. Let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network that I can get you connected to. What? What's this person doing over here? No. Let's go over and raid our friend Lana Lux. There we go. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to work through more of this, working with Copilot, building on SharpSite, enhancing, growing, and hopefully finishing our startup process here. We've got a pretty good plugin that looks like it works well for Postgres. Maybe we can pivot and get it to generate one for MySQL or SQL Server. Let's see what happens. We'll do that tomorrow as we continue to grow and enhance SharpSite. All right? Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, there's lots more videos over here or down here, depending on how you tuned into the channel. Thank you so much for watching. But until I see you tomorrow, have a fantastic rest of your day. I wish you good coding and good health. Take care.